You're watching Oilers Nation Radio.
We might not make it to an hour, and I kind of want to talk about things that aren't hockey, if I'm being totally honest. But anyways, Oilers Nation Radio, Friday edition.
Positive edition.
Get excited, folks.
Positive Friday.
Who's ready to talk about the Oilers?
I am.
Okay, Rick's ready to go. I like that.
Wow, with that attitude, and you didn't.
You're not going to like what I have to say.
Today.
Oh, boy.
No.
Well, then.
You can oh boy it all you want, but that's fine.
No, I actually don't know which way you're going to go. This is fantastic. So let's not waste any time, boys. Let's get into it. The Delicious Debate is brought to you by Odd Company Brewing and the all-new Nation Beer Everyday Lager. Perfect for game night. Perfect for a nice sunny Friday, even though it's minus 16 outside. You can find it by going to liquorconnect.com, typing in Nation Beer, finding a liquor store near you, or go to one of Odd Company's 2 locations in the area. Who's on Delicious Debate duty today, boys?
Rick?
Wyman. Rick.
Shoot. All right, I'll do it as a leader.
Lead by example.
The Oilers need some of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we posed this question to the chat before on the live show too. So curious what Dan and Rick think about this. What is the number one concern you have right now with the Edmonton Oilers?
Forward scoring behind outside of 97 and 29.
Dan, you start. No, I'm kidding.
I
Go on. Continue on.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like it is strictly right now. I do believe that I saw a better performance of the team last night than I had probably previous to the Dallas game. They're out there, they're skating, they're hitting. We played pretty decently in our own end, especially for the first 2 periods. All 5 guys were down there. They played as a team, they played as a group. They contested most of the shots that the Devils had. They weren't giving away freebies from the slot. They just can't score. They can't score, especially outside of 29 and 97. They cannot score. And that's their biggest issue right now. Those 2 goals, those were bad luck goals. I know people are going to hate me for this, but the fact those pucks went through absolutely everything, didn't touch anything. If you watch that first one, it goes between a dude's legs who are like crossing, and I don't know if you could place it through there any better. It was bad luck on our part, good luck on their part that the puck went in without touching anything, but we wouldn't be there if we were scoring goals. And like I said, everybody outside of 29-97, they need to start producing a hell of a lot more.
Dan?
Yeah, it's boring. My answer is the same. It's the bottom 9. Need to figure it out.
Bottom 10.
Well,
Hyman's included, yeah.
Yeah, I include Hyman with
but I was considering Corey Perry up in the top.
Okay, maybe he gets a freebie. That's fine. Yeah, for what he's doing. That's
so
fine.
however you dice it, 9 hit spots on the roster.
And yeah, I mean, you demand more of it. I've mused about it on this show before. I honestly think that Knobloch needs to go to a starting lineup that has the bottom 9 playing until they can get some sustained pressure and actually show that they give a shit. And then you can unleash the Kraken and bring out Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl and actually show that this is a bit of a meritocracy.
But don't you think that's a little bit of the batter leaving the bat on the shoulder instead of swinging? If he does not change the lineup, if he's out there, plays 4 lines, and one line's doing something, like Connor and Leon are doing things and nobody else is doing anything, you're not creating any offense, you put them together, do you not feel like if you didn't do that, if you just sat there and didn't do anything and went say, you 4 lines are going to play exactly the way you are for the entire game, and then nothing's happening, do you not see that a little bit as the batter leaving the bat on his shoulder? He's not swinging.
Sure, in every single game. No,
yeah,
that's the part where it's just like you've gone to the same toolkit every single time, and the book is being written on you now. Like you've gotten to the point where teams are not as, I think, they're not as downtrodden when Leon and Connor come out. Yes, they're going to get scored on. Like I almost guarantee that every time you put Connor and Leon together, you're going to get a single goal out of them. But that's not good enough. A single goal isn't winning these hockey games anymore. And that's where the bottom 9.
I don't think that falls on the coach at this point. It falls on the other guys, the guys with the skates on their feet to go out there, pull their socks up and do their job.
It does for me though. Sorry. When a guy like you see a guy like Skinner or a guy like Arvidsson, and they finally get that opportunity up on the top line or in a top position, and they play 10 minutes in the game, and then they're dropped down out of the top spot again
because they're not playing well enough. And he has to go back to those guys.
But you have to give them the opportunity. You have to give them the runway to fuck up. You have to give them the runway to fuck up at some point to just say that that's the entire game.
The proof is in the Dallas game. They went down 1-0, and Chris Knobloch did not go nuclear. He kept his 4 lines the same, and they got 2 goals from Nuge McDavid Hyman. They got a goal from the Arvidsson Podkolzin Draisaitl line, and they even got a goal from Henrique Janmark and Brown. And
So
they were
that's
up.
one game. I agree with you there. That one game, they looked much better there.
Okay, and then let's go Anaheim. Down early, Nuclear, lose 6-2. Buffalo, down early, Nuclear, lose 3-2. Last night, New Jersey, down early, Nuclear, lose 3-2. And the last 2 goals, the game-winning goal was with Janmar or Brown, Podkolzin, and Nuge on the ice together. Why the fuck are those guys on the ice together?
Brown, Pods, and Nuge.
That should have been
because because the other 3 were actually looking pretty good in the Arvidsson, Skinner, and Henrique line.
But
those guys are coming together.
So in the last game, in the last sample of games where they've needed a comeback, they've gone Nuclear 3 times, lost every single one of them, kept the lines together and won against the best team they played in that stretch and beat them. Like,
what coincidence in my mind?
I don't view it that way at all. I'm looking at the numbers from that Dallas game, and every line except the 4th line was just buzzing in that one.
But now, can you say that they were buzzing in the first period of last night's game? Like, again, 93,
I thought they played well.
93 is almost invisible out there, especially offensively right now.
But then the solution is to give 93 a bigger role as your second line center. No, keep him next to McDavid, because you know what? McDavid and Hyman are probably going to do enough, just the 2 of them, that like, who cares? But Draisaitl with Arvidsson, because Arvidsson can't do anything if he's not out there with Leon Draisaitl.
Well, I think he's doing something with that other line. So hopefully they play together the whole night tonight, because I did start to see something in at least the second half of the game last night with Skinner, Arvidsson, and Henrique.
Yeah, I've liked Henrique recently, but that's kind of about it. And even at that point,
but even when you say you liked him,
it's game 60 something, and I'm like applauding a guy for going to the net
and not getting points. Yeah, no, what I'm saying is these guys need to start. There's different shelves of like scoring here, right? So you've got Connor and Leon on the top one, whoever you want to put on the second shelf and the third shelf, 4th, maybe 5th, whatever you want to look at. Nobody outside that first shelf is producing, whether you're playing with Connor, whether you're not playing with Connor, whether you're on, like, it doesn't matter. Like, for me, like I wanted the coach to bring this team up. And so they do look a little more alive right now. They're skating. They're playing a little more like a team. They're hitting.
Last night was awful. I thought they didn't do any of that. They blocked shots last night, which was nice.
I think they started the game last night hitting, and I think
Leon
they started
that hit in his first shift.
And then I think they started the 3rd period hitting, but then they got away from it almost immediately. And that's going to happen when you pull off guys like Max Jones and let him play for 4 minutes.
Yeah, his turnover was bad, and Knobloch called him out, so I feel like he might be done now. Because
I don't think Janmark's ready to go, so he gets an automatic go back in.
That insider information,
insider trading.
It was insider on Twitter.
Oh, I think
no messengers.
This team last year in the playoffs was successful with Connor and Leon apart. Mm-hmm. Leon played more than twice as many minutes without Connor as he did with him.
But I think it's less of them and more of the guys around him that were producing. Whether they were...
What message, and Henrique his post game I thought was interesting last night. What message does it send to Skinner and Arvidsson when it's like, all right, guys, you just practiced for 2 days on the road with Draisaitl. We are 20 minutes into the game. Shit, we're down 1-0. Okay, you're done. Matt Savoy, same thing.
And multiple times during Skinner and Arvidsson, and I agree with you, they didn't look bad with Henrique, but there was afterwards. But there were spots where they looked lost with Henrique, and they were expecting a Leon, and I was expecting a Leon in that position in the second period once they started making the changes. And it's just, it feels easy as a fan to just say it's a mental thing, but I, like Tyler keeps saying it, it's like, what is the message that you're sending to these forwards that, okay, guys, 60 games into it, we're still throwing you guys out, and you got to figure it out with line mates that you haven't touched since the last time we did this. It's just, I don't know. It's frustrating to me as a fan to keep expecting that out of the bottom 6 or the bottom 9 when
these guys are good enough that they should be, the blame should be falling on them, and that's it.
I kind of landed on both sides of it, because I think Rick's right in saying that like not enough guys are doing enough, and
I think Jeff Skinner's been good recently, though.
I think he's been
but he never gets to play. So there is an actual head scratch or whatever. I don't think anyone's figured out why. But yes, Jeff Skinner should automatically be in the top 6 all the time, unless he's hurt or unless someone else is going through the roof.
For me, it comes down to effort. And by effort, I mean winning puck battles, like regaining possession. Like the others are so one and done in the offensive zone. It's pretty ridiculous. Like you go back and look at the Dallas game, they dominated them in the crease. They were getting to the net and causing chaos. And that's just not necessarily getting in the way for screens. It's digging for pucks. Like you look at the Hyman goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like McDavid, I tried to score, obviously, but knew Hyman was there if it didn't go well for him. And then
Hyman's like, thank you.
Knocked it in. And like, even the Arvidsson goal, like a little bit different, but whoever the defenseman was passes it outside after making it seem like there was going to be a shot, and it was chaos in front of Ottinger. And then Arvidsson's able to finally get a slap shot away, first time this season.
Bouchard.
And was it Bouchard who passed him the puck? And then all of a sudden you have like an easier shot on goal because you're causing chaos. Like last night, they just didn't create any second chances for them. And if they, like, a lot of the second chances and screen attempts that they had that were good came in the third period. It's like, what happened to this team that was so dominant in the second that like Jack was having to say it so much because they were so good that it was getting like irritating to hear how much success they were having in the second. And now you can't talk about it because they're not having any success in the second period.
I think they really focused on the defensive side of the game last night.
I think,
and then went. So I
said
said
much.
Yeah, and that's fair. But I think so. I think that when they were dipping. So I said this before the Carolina. Did we play Carolina recently? We won 3-1.
A few.
Yeah. So that was the one I said. I think this is going to be one of those low scoring games, and we'll win it by a goal or two. They really focus on the defensive side of things, and then there's going to be a team that takes it afterwards. They kind of dipped again. And again, last night was the kind of that game that I see where they're like, hey, fuck this. We got to take care of our own end. It's not fun. Nobody wants to do this. They were in front of every damn shot in the first two periods. Nothing was getting through. And anything did get through. Stu made the stops.
Did well.
Easy saves or bad saves. Easy shots or bad shots. And then I was like, okay, now the offense will start to take care of itself. So again, that's kind of where maybe it's a little Groundhog Day of me, but I'm going into tonight's game again thinking, okay, I think they're a little more confident in their own end. They didn't have as many of those 160-foot fucking breakout passes where they go from the goal line to the goddamn fucking far blue line, which for some reason they do 17 times a day game because it works.
Does it?
Never. So I do think they have a bit of a team game put together again last night, and then two lucky shots from the point got in. Clear those guys out of the net. When you make your goaltender stand up like that, he's now more narrow. He takes him longer to get his pads to the ice, whether it be a half a second or 3/4 of a second, whatever it is. You're facing NHL shots. Those pucks are moving. Let him stay in his position. Clear the guys from the front of the net. Let him see the pucks.
But didn't you hear, Rick? Goaltending's very easy. You should make. You should stop every goal that goes.
I try really hard not to go on because you can't really explain. You can't have an actual conversation with people on Twitter because they're like, oh, just goaltending. Look at these numbers. And I was like, there's so much more before that. And I felt kind of seen when I saw Gregor and Strudwick talking about it a couple of days ago, where there's the drop in the rebound. Cool, you're supposed to catch that, but why the defensemen allow the forwards to keep going in there? You need to create a wall so your forwards can't get anywhere near your goaltender.
Yep.
Yeah.
Whether he stops it, lets it in, whatever the hell it is, you don't get any closer. You stay there. You can't get between us.
Yeah, I think you said it well when you said that they almost over defended last night. I think that's
they're
why
over emphasizing on that and saying our offense will whatever. But let's focus on our end because that's a massive issue for us.
And I think those the last two goals against shows it that was a team that was playing to block the shot, not necessarily even giving a shit about who was around them. And I agree with you. I think Kulak needs to be clearing out the garbage in front of the net there, or making it damn hard for that guy to stand up straight at least. And then you're not as upset at Skinner because of the fact that they're kind of living by the sword that they died by, or dying by the sword that they lived by earlier in the game, and it was doing well for them. So I give them credit on the team defense side of things. Just think that
now maybe this is the hopes and dreams, but I do feel like when they get that part figured out, the rest of the game kind of eases in, like the natural scoring ability of everybody comes out, and you kind of stop gripping your stick so much, stop overthinking things so much, because they're trying so hard not to lose right now that they can't win. Yeah. And it's frustrating because we're looking at this based on the whole season, especially compared to what we have done last year and the year before. But I think we need to look at each game individually, like in a vacuum. That's kind of where they are. It's like they're frustrated. They can't figure it out. They're gripping their sticks like crazy. I know the Janmark breakaway from whatever many games ago, everyone likes to make fun of. That was a dude who had way too much time to think about shit.
Oh my God.
They're so frustrating. I get you, but you understand when you're really frustrated about things, when you're overthinking things, you make them even worse. Wow. Like that's just the whole, you got to like relax.
But then if that's the case, like there are certain things that you can control, and like effort, the amount of fight you're putting into a game.
That's what I'm seeing a little bit more in the last couple of games since Dallas.
When was the last time we saw a scrum after the whistle where someone grabbed someone and was like, I'm just going to.
That's definitely not a part of our makeup that I would like to see
They're
To be
soft.
more.
They're soft. And like you said something that I thought was interesting, Rick, when you were like, hey, the Carolina game, like lock it down defensively, like the stuff that they don't really want to do. They
Not
like
fun stuff.
they should want to do that. Like you should sit there and be like, man, if I play good defensively, I'm going to help us win on. It just feels like this Oilers team. And I think it starts at the top and it goes down. If there's not an immediate scoring chance, the extra effort is never put in. It's like, hey, if we can get a breakaway or a 2-on-1, hell yeah, I'll turn on the burners. Oh, we dumped the puck into the corner. I'm good.
I get where you're coming from. And again, I think it's guys trying too damn hard. Like, you got to simplify your game, you guys. Take all I don't want to see a pass over 12 fucking feet. And why I picked 12, I have no idea. Essentially, I just want to see 5 guys come out as a tight group and with speed, come up through the neutral zone, dump it in so the guy on the far side is still moving. And there's nothing I hate more than seeing a guy come across the red line, then fake it, slow down. Like the guy going in to be the first man to the puck has to almost stop at the blue line. You lose all your momentum. You're pretty much just giving the puck to their team.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was a couple of instances last night that lends credence to what you're saying. Like there was a couple opportunities where Connor Brown just looked like I said it last night on After Dark. I don't understand. You can't explain to me how that guy has scored 20 goals in this league 2 times in his career. It's insane sometimes. And then like Jeff Skinner seemed like he was buffering on that one play in front of the net.
Oh, and
like,
he just stood there.
Yeah. It was in his like just
looks like a guy that is snake bitten, that is feeling it, is overthinking the need for the shot. Yeah,
it's like a golf swing. It's like a bad, like Ken Griffey had that buttery swing, and everyone right now looks like everyone's right now is playing like a Charles Barkley drive or a Charles Barkley swing, like that back, the backswing he's got there, that the 13 hitches in it somewhere.
Yeah,
that's kind of what the guys are playing right now, and they need to get rid of that. And just go back and let your natural talent take over.
I just feel for you guys having to do this every day because honestly, like I say this about, I get asked quite often, just people will come up to me and say, what's going on with the Oilers? And my initial response is, I love having to answer this every single time. But the reality is there's like 6 different things that happen every night that you can be like, yeah, that's what went wrong. And just be like, that's the explanation. But the next part is, how do we fucking fix it? Like, how do you get to the next step? And
we're an offensive team, and Gregor pointed out today, and he put the stats up there. We have more games where we have allowed 2 goals or less than we have games where we have scored 4 or more. With this exact team, you're fucked doing that.
Yeah. The makeup of the team is offense.
Yeah. And there's no reason for it. Except for the guys with the skates on their feet.
It's just, to me, some of the effort-based stuff. Like you kept talking about those goals where like they're bad luck because it's going through traffic. Okay, but that's because the other team's putting traffic there. Liam went back. We rewatched the entire game last night. Every shot on goal, I should say. There's how many shots from the point had traffic in front? 4.
See, and I agree with you there. If we get more, because what do we have? I think we have 4th or 5th most shots from the point. Well, so we've got that part already. Get to the damn front of the net, you guys. And get your sticks down and get in and be hard on your stick and out battle the next guy. So when the puck does end up on a rebound, you don't look like Bouchard last night, who could not smack in the wide open net. Or I think Hyman missed out on about 3 or 4 attempts at like smashing a rebound because he was getting muscled off the puck. Muscle the other guy off the puck. Win your battles.
Yeah, that was the other thing too, is like guys were getting close to the net, but once they got to the net, they were just getting boxed out.
Yeah, and back to the defense. Drop it back to the defense. But we have 6 Bouchards back there, right?
But you got to fight your way. You got to fight your way back to the front of the net again.
I do think just causing chaos. Like there was just so many times where like the goalie was just so easily able just to step to the side and be like, "Oh, clean shot in front." And like, don't get me wrong, I think Allen made some decent saves yesterday. He had a decent game overall, but it was just like, man, the others just created like no second chance efforts.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there was 4 again in the game, and basically all the numbers that I collected came in the third period when they were already down in the game. I was trying to win the game, I guess, whatever the score was at the time, and it's just like.
And it's frustrating because I feel like they looked better.
I thought they looked better too. Like Stu was making saves.
Yes,
Stu had like 2 or 3.
The save right before the Leon goal was incredible.
Yeah, that's right. It was a big save. And I think it's unfortunate that they're getting half decent games from him, and they're just not able to score. Like they're asking him to win them games at the moment, which like, of course, like your goalie should be capable of winning you games from time to time. But your offense should also be more than capable of doing that.
I would also argue against Montreal, he won them the game.
Yeah,
he was probably their best player next to Booth.
Even like the Dallas game, I know he allowed 4, but I think that stat line was pretty unfair.
You can still win a game. Your goalie can still win you a game, and you win 4-3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we aren't scoring enough goals. Period.
That's why, like, there's an article on Oilers Nation right now by Sunil, and it's a great article, and he's just talking about like how the goaltending is preventing the Oilers from being creative. And he's like, I just can't stand by those comments because I watch the game and I just see a lack of effort. And you can put that down to creativity all you want, but like, let's not pretend that Stuart Skinner's been an elite goalie the entire time he's been in Edmonton. The Oilers have been in this situation many times before where their goaltending hasn't been to the caliber, let's just say, of what they would necessarily need on a night-to-night basis. But like, they've still been able to fight through it. And right now they're just
because they score, and the power play would take care of it. The power play not doing shit, and we can't score. Like it's everything points back to offense to me right now.
Yeah, and to the
almost
people,
all year.
And I see people on Twitter, and again, small subset of the fan base, but they're like, "That's because this team is deflated by the goaltending. They don't want to play for these goalies." I don't think you've ever played a fucking team sport in your life. Like I know Greg,
a lot of people that talk a lot who aren't teammates.
Gregor had a great comment about that yesterday
on his show.
Yeah, he was just like, I don't think whenever I played a sport, and I doubt anyone else did. When I was going down the ice thinking like, boy, oh boy, I have to make a play right now because my goalie sucks. Like nobody thinks that.
Or the other way around.
Sure, like maybe guys think like, damn, you should have saved that one. Like when you have the puck on your stick, no one's like, I got to do this to save Stu.
Yeah.
Like, and like, because people kept saying like, oh, the lack of effort. It's because they're sick of playing for this goaltending. And it's like, no. If you're playing a team sport and your goalie is struggling, and he's been your goalie now for 2 seasons, almost 3 full seasons, you're not going to sit there and be like, well, I'm done. You're going to be like, fuck, we have to play so good tonight so that like we give ourselves a chance and we back up Stu. Like that's the mindset. The mindset isn't like, we should stop trying.
And I want to know how many of our goals against are off turnovers that we like our turnovers that end up in our net, and how many goals against are off offense they generated themselves.
Do you know,
because I feel like our turnovers always end up in the back of our net. And then you see times when he's coming down 2-0,
right?
A couple of games ago, the 2-2-0s and stopped one, let one in. But the second one stopped it. Like he makes so many of these saves where they are creating it. But as soon as like we turn the puck over, and whether it be our face-off dot or the far face-off dot, the puck ends up in the net. It makes no sense to me.
I think back to last night and then a bit further back too. But like, so Draisaitl scored his because McDavid was able to keep it in on the line. Like he made a good play to create a turnover, keep the puck in the zone, and regenerate another chance. And then the Bouchard one was just a cycle, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so. And then just like a little wobbly pop from
the Oilers had to create those chances themselves. I wouldn't say they came from glaring errors.
No.
But like the Max Jones one is like blatant turnover in the zone, like dump the puck.
And almost all 3 from the previous game were off turnovers.
And this was a while ago, but I still think it's relevant. Like you look back to the Detroit game that they lost. Stu just stopped a Lucas Raymond breakaway, and then Detroit's next attempt was another breakaway on Dylan Larkin. And it's like, how is this happening? Like so close. And then it's like, how could Stu not save that? It's like, he just stopped one. Like he can't stop every breakaway.
That 2-on-1 save yesterday after Kapanen, whatever the fuck he did.
Yeah.
That 2-on-1 save was incredible.
It literally led to it wasn't that the when Draisaitl went up the other end and scored? I think
it might have been pretty short after. Yeah.
Blocker.
He gave you saves yesterday.
Yes.
And also too, like we were looking at, like I said, we looked at the shots they had yesterday, and the Oilers had, I think it was 8 high danger chances in the third period. I would love for someone to come out and show me when those 8 high danger chances showed up, because I
don't you have the expensive website that you could do that?
I watched the shots today and I didn't
so you and I counted 4 shots that were rebounds, second attempts. So there's 4 of the 8. Draisaitl's goal would be 5.
No, this was just in the third period. They had 8. My
God.
In the second, they had 2, and in the first, they had 3.
We had 19 shots in the third period. Sorry,
they finished with 33 or something like that. So yeah, I think
they had a lot of shots. Yes, it was.
But it's just like, I'm not seeing it. Like I'd love to know how that number is calculated.
Last year, they had such swagger around the defense and the defense getting involved on the offense, but it felt like the forwards, at least just anecdotally, kind of took that as like a slight on them and responded. And then the offense just started to click. This year, it feels like nobody's embarrassed by the fact like Brett Kulak is out shooting the forwards. Like it should be a problem to them. In my opinion, I don't think it's a bad thing that we have defense that's confident in shooting, but you need to be having the offense respond to that and push that narrative further. But
to go with the defense, you just need, again, guys who are willing to go to the net or stand in the way of pucks.
Yeah. Yep. Let's do a little Ask the Idiots, brought to you by our friends at Oodle Noodle, 15 locations in the Edmonton area. Go order a Tokyo Glaze box, because right now 10% of that purchase is going to go to our friends at Sports Central. Oodle Noodle, always helping the community. It's a Friday night. The oil play, you don't want to cook. Nation Beer and Oodle Noodle, that is a hell of a tag team. All right, boys. First one I got for you, and actually, I'll be honest, it might be the only one because BM gets all these questions, and BM is in Toronto right now. But there was one from our mailbag, which drops every Monday morning on OilersNation.com, that I'm interested. Came from Lisa, who says, what makes you believe that the Oilers can turn it around other than simply saying they've done it before? Rick?
I guess like looking at their resume is kind of saying they've done it before.
Yeah. Like maybe one part of their game that you think is like more of a lock to turn around than the others.
But I mean, every time you say that, it's because they've done it before. They proved they can do it. It's a power play, but you're not going to like the reasoning. We've
because they've done it before.
We've seen it. They're good at this.
Yeah.
This is just like I said, like a slump at a very unfortunate time. And I believe that because of the law of averages, maybe that's better instead of what they've done before. The law of averages say your numbers will, I guess, regressing's down.
Yeah.
What's the opposite?
Positive regression.
Yeah, whatever. Thank you.
To me, I look at one thing. Since the start of February, they have the 28th lowest shooting percentage in the NHL at 5-on-5. This team has too much skill to only score on 6.69% of their shots, when the league median, you could say 15th in the NHL, is 8.6, and there are a total of 11 teams shooting higher than 10%. Eventually, pucks got to go in, and I'll echo this one more time. It is effort.
That, though?
They have to go to the net. They have to create second chances. The easiest shots to go in are rebound attempts because the goalie's down and out, or shots with traffic in front, as we've seen the last few games. So they need the effort to go there, but I really do think they start burying some chances eventually, like the Connor Brown one against Buffalo, where like if he holds on to it through the slot, he has an open net, and then he gets lucky enough to get the rebound back and have an open net.
Got an open net. We still hit the post. So how do we how is that not that mistake not equal to a goaltender letting in a bad shot? Like, as individual players making just individual mistakes,
I know
doesn't fit your narrative.
Well, no, but also
because you would be +1 if you put in the net. Therefore, you're up 1. That's -1. They're sort of the same thing.
And Gregor's been big on this too. And here's my counter argument to the whole, like, a player missing a chance is just as valuable as the goalie giving up a goal. A goalie is supposed to stop 90 to 93% of the shots he faces. A forward is supposed to score on 10% of his shots.
I think
how many of the Oilers are scoring at 10% of their shots?
Not enough. But that's where I mean, like, again, though, it is a little.
That's the other side.
It's not totally linear, but
it depends on the chance.
Start to come together.
Liam, you got an answer? Dan?
Well, I already submitted my answers too. I was ahead of the game on this one, so I'm glad you chose it. I said, similar to what Rick said.
Just reads his answer.
I will read my answer. Dan, you do yours while I pull up my answer.
Okay. I think that this team is missing an element that they just haven't shown yet, and is available to them in spades, and will be more available to them as the certain guys that are injured and or that have just not played for this team yet come into this lineup. And that is just the physicality. And I think that it's not to say that I've seen them do it before, but to try and stay within the rules, but knowing that the impact that physicality and making the other team kind of play on the back foot can have for this team, and can have for any team playing hockey, I think that there's so much room left for them to get physical for me to be too concerned at this point.
I got my answer.
All right, let's go, Liam.
Yes, very
I said the same team was the best team in the NHL for 30 games, and now they're the worst. Eventually, they're going to balance that out and find their way to at least the middle.
I know everybody deals with injuries. The Oilers just lost to a New Jersey team who was missing both their best defenseman and best forward and second best defenseman.
And started a backup goalie.
And started their backup goalie. But I also think the ripple effect of Ekholm hopefully being back at 100% when he's finally back in the lineup. But if Ekholm is back and can be 100% with Bouchard and Wallman's with Nurse and Kulak's with Emberson, it's like, okay, now the blue line looks a lot better. And if Trent Frederick joins the lineup and is as impactful as I hope he'd be, not that either one of these guys are like the Lord and Savior shining light coming in to deliver us to a Stanley Cup, but like if Trent Frederick can come in, I think he's a good fit next to Leon. Does that mean that they can go Connor and Leon separate more often? You know, does that rejig the lineup a little bit? I don't know. Maybe getting a little bit healthier is a reason to believe that things will turn around at some point here. I know the Oilers have been very healthy, and I know that every team's going to go through injuries, so it's not like you can just point to only that. But I agree with the points you guys made, and then I'll also add on top, getting Ekholm back could be massive. Frederick into the lineup, that's an addition we haven't seen yet. You never know.
Evander Kane.
Well, yeah, come playoff time, Evander Kane as well. Next one, I guess I'll ask you guys. Low Tide asked me this question earlier today. Would you be tempted to call anyone up from Bakersfield? Would you want Matt Savoy here? Would you want to see Noah Philp one more time? Or, all reliable, Derek Ryan's been down there for quite some time. Dan, I'll start with you actually on this one. Would you want anyone called up?
I wouldn't mind seeing Derek Ryan get another song up here. I think that even if he isn't playing in the roster, I think he's a liked guy around the room and just would be maybe something to help with a little bit of chemistry, because I think we're silly if we don't think that there's a bit of a chemistry issue just from the fact that you just keep losing after the Four Nations.
Also, let him be by his kids. Come on, Chris.
That's a tough one.
Bring him up. I mean, they have the gap.
No to that now.
Derek Ryan's not a bad shout. He,
Are you playing on him?
I mean, I don't think
Are you
he's.
just put him in the dressing room to run the aux cord? Or
You know what? Like, I don't think Derek Ryan makes the glaring errors like Kasperi Kapanen makes on a night-to-night.
I think that's a decent point, actually.
So I would definitely play him over.
They could
Kapanen
call him
over
up too.
But you're going to have Frederick in front of there anyways, right away.
Frederick's 10 plus days away from being back.
I would take out Jones and Kapanen.
I'd want them both out right now. Yeah. Rick, would you call up any of those three?
I would obviously you're going to bring some up when it comes to Black Aces time anyways, but as of right now today, probably not. The only guy I would consider probably would be Savoy. I just think he has a spot on Leon's wing in the near future. I think in the next calendar year, that's probably where you got him. Maybe we can find something. I really wanted to see those two with Skinner on the left side. So personally, I'd like to see that. But I don't see how DR, excuse me, I don't see how DR is going to do anything. Unfortunately, we don't have a defenseman out there who is I think our sixth defenseman, Ekholm's back, is really strong.
Mm-hmm.
So defense, no, not that we have one anyways. Goalie, I think you're not better anyways. Forwards, I don't think Philp, I would consider Philp. DR, not really. So I think the only guy is Savoy, who's actually going to make it into the lineup if I bring him up.
Cam Denis, anybody?
No, thank you. I got nothing against him, but
I would.
I saw him more in the offensive zone than I saw him anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like below their goal line. I was like, all right.
They played him in OT.
Yeah. Crazy speed.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't mind any of the three forward options. Obviously, like Derek Ryan's not going to come here, and I'm not saying he's going to make a big impact on the ice, but I know he's not going to screw things up. And I think that's a big thing right now for this team is like not making awful decisions. And Derek Ryan, 37 now, obviously, been around the block. Maybe he can help. Even if he's just a dressing room guy, I don't think it's a bad idea.
I like Phil.
I like all of them. You could call up all three of those guys and they would come here and be better.
Well, I would do Savoy with the caveat of I think if you're going to call up Savoy, you have to go to Chris Knobloch and be like, where are you playing him?
Yeah.
Because his last game, he started on Leon's wing. And then after the first period, he was playing center. He's not even playing center in Bakersfield right now because they decided that wasn't a good idea. That's not who he is. And then on the third period, he was wing with like Henrique or something. And it was just like, okay, you got to have a clear, concise plan. And again, hindsight, maybe the time to do that was January when you could have had some lower stakes games and said, you know what, let's give Matt Savoy 3 games next to Leon no matter what. But again, Knobloch has shown he can't play someone with Leon for 3 straight periods, never mind 3 straight games. So Yeah, there you go, boys. Those are your Ask the Idiots questions for our friends at Oodle Noodle. Let's get into a little bit of the betting talk for our friends at Bet365. Breaking news coming in from Bet365. Every nail-biting overtime winner is a barn burner. Every face-off, hat-trick, power play, shot on goal, penalty shot, every suspenseful moment in between is amazing. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365, an official partner of the NHL. Download the Bet365 app. Use the code NATION to get in the game. Must be 19 years or older. Please play responsibly. Let's start, before we get into tonight's game, with some futures. Leon Draisaitl, still the odds-on favorite to win the MVP this season, but his gap has actually kind of shrunk a little bit over the last few weeks. He has gone from about minus 200 to minus 150. Who do you guys think is second on the list?
Nate Hellebuck.
It's got to be Nathan McKinnon.
It is Connor Hellebuck by actually a pretty significant margin.
Hellebuck to his phone like he knew the answer too. Like we throw that ball up, and you're like,
Yeah,
easy.
well, if you listened to last week's show, we talked about it.
Did we?
I think we did.
I remember something.
I think
about
I
it.
said Hellebuck should be the favorite.
McKinnon's plus 400. I found it interesting. I had this debate with Frank today. Like, when you watch an Oilers game, it is so painfully clear who their best player is every night, and it's like not even really that close.
Yeah.
And on a lot of nights, it's like, whoa, Leon's moving, and then there's no one else that's really moving all that impactfully. I look at McKinnon still, and listen, as much as I hated when people did the whole like, well, Connor has Leon, he can't win it. Leon has Connor, so he can't win it. Nathan McKinnon won empty net point merchant, must be noted, all the time. If Draisaitl would stop hitting fucking posts on empty nets, maybe it's a different conversation.
He'd have 60 already.
He would, yeah, honestly, he'd be pretty damn close. But like, Cale Makar is the runaway Norris favorite.
Gonna say he's got Makar. So if anyone says Leon's got a Connor, well, Nate's got Makar back there, and that's
but he's a defenseman, so it's a different conversation.
Like,
defenseman.
I know. I hear what you're saying.
Defenseman.
I think it's a lock that Draisaitl should be the MVP, and I don't.
He's got to stay close in the Art Ross race in order for it to be to win that one. I think. If Nate pulls away in Art Ross, then I think you can give him the heart.
Western Conference playoff race, boys. There's basically one spot up for grabs because Minnesota should be able to do enough down the stretch to hold on. Also, they are 1 point up on the Edmonton Oilers, so don't really want to say that they're on the bubble. But that final spot, the Calgary Flames are holding on to it right now, 71 points in 64 games. The Canucks have played one more game, but they are tied at 60 or at 71 as well.
Yeah, I'm just counting.
Utah is next, 69 points. So 2 points back, 65 games. St. Louis, 69 points, 66 games. So Calgary's 2 points up on both Utah and St. Louis, with 1 game in hand on Utah, 2 in hand on St. Louis. Vancouver right in the mix as well. If you had to rank them, and then I'll give you Bet365 after. Liam, you did this the other day, so you get to go last. But if you had to rank them from most likely to least likely to make the playoffs, how would you rank them?
Right now, I would probably go... Oh, I hate doing this. Calgary first. Second is going to be St. Louis, Utah, Vancouver. I think Vancouver's got a bit of that negativity in them. That's going to really prevent them. I think Calgary on the opposite has a lot of that positivity in them. That's going to give them that little bump. And then the two teams in the middle are relatively the same. I know losing Parayko doesn't help St. Louis at all, but I think they have enough youth offensively that they should be able to pull ahead of Utah and hopefully pass those guys in red.
That was way too much thought. I'm just going to say Utah, Calgary, Vancouver, and then St. Louis.
Utah first, then
Calgary,
then Vancouver, then St. Louis. So the odds on favorite right now is actually Vancouver at plus 120.
Wow.
Calgary's next plus 190. Utah plus 350. And then St. Louis at plus 650. But what I actually find interesting, and I kind of want to bet on this now, Vancouver to miss the playoffs at minus 150. I think they're just lacking. I don't think the vibes are there at all.
The negativity in there where they just can't.
Quinn Hughes can't play.
You know who can't play? 4-0.
Well, no, I mean like Quinn Hughes like can't see in the lineup, like can't play.
Well,
Elias Pettersson
4-0 can't play.
Well,
he can tie his skates, but that's about it.
He's getting out there, but he's not doing a whole heck of a lot.
And they manufactured a goalie controversy for themselves.
Yeah, which is also weird. Like signing Lankinen at this point when you're just basically pointing to Demko with 20.
The guy from last year.
Sealovs? Flash in the pan. Remember when Canucks fans were like, we would have beat you last year if we had Thatcher Demko, and now they're probably going to trade Thatcher Demko in the summer?
To the Oilers.
Remember when they laughed
Stop
at
it.
Leon Draisaitl's extension because they were like, JT Miller's got a way better deal.
Oh yeah.
Wait.
Oh my god.
They officially passed the point of no return. Do they have to? Can they move EP40 before the no trade kicks in?
Yeah, they can trade him at the draft.
I can't see one GM out there being dumb enough to bring that on.
Kevin Adams has a job.
Buffalo. Columbus has so much cap space that if you're getting him for like close to nothing, I could see Columbus being like, they have like $60 million. Like they have to spend so much money. I could see Columbus being like, he's going to play second line for us and he'll be in an offensive role and the pressure's off him. Let's see what he can do.
In 8 years? 8?
Yeah, but I mean,
He's the new line A.
And save your assets and utilize them elsewhere. That's going to be the worst contract in the league.
might already be.
Huberdeau
has doubled his goal output from last
he
year.
leads the team, but he also gets paid 11 million, doesn't he?
It's 10, I think.
Yeah.
It's between 10 and 11, but I think EP
He
will
only
be
has
over.
48.
It's still not enough.
24 goals though for like a complimentary 31-year-old on. I know he gets paid so much,
but it's still bad.
I don't know. Vinny Desharnais is making $4 million.
2.
Yeah,
I'm
2,
just-
4 over 2 years.
I would have brought Vinny back. They were
I'm
like
just fucking
50%. You can have Vinny for $1 million. Bring
Yeah.
him home.
I'll bring him in a
That's fair.
second. I still think we need someone who can break up this. I know, like with our sixth, when our guys are healthy, he ain't there.
Mm-hmm.
When they're not,
That's fine.
when they're not,
He could play.
Troy out, Vin in,
There you go.
and that gives like I
He's
still think we need
he's
someone to break up
better
the
than-
cycle.
He's better than John Klingberg.
I don't think that, but I think I'll put him ahead of Stetcher.
100% believe he is better than
For what they need, a penalty killer, yeah.
100%. He can play.
Well, you just said two different things though.
What?
You said based on what we need, he fits the need better. You said the player is better.
Yeah, I think he's better.
I don't think he's better,
I think,
but
he
I
is.
think the need would be filled better by the big
Maybe
fella.
that's why I'm more on it. But I would take Vinny on this team for $1 million than John
He's a good-
Klingberg. ever
good
put
vibe
on
guy,
New
and,
Jersey again.
You want a guy to get the start scrumming up?
Mm-hmm.
That ain't Klingberg.
All right, let's talk about tonight's hockey game. The Oilers are slight favorites tonight, minus 135. Islanders plus 115. This is pretty similar to the line last night. Coming into this game, the New York Islanders have only one. I just had it in front of me. They've lost 2 in a row. They're 4-6 in their last 10. Straight up this year, they're 29 wins, 35 losses. So you got to have this one.
You'd really like it. I mean, I don't know. I don't like to use the absolutes, the must wins, the gottas. Like it's.
But you can. Liam said this earlier to me. You can salvage this road trip.
Yes. 2 wins
somehow. But
2
you
wins
can.
back to back.
Yeah.
Play look like you look
Smash them.
make it look like you were playing when you were one of the best teams of the league. Yes.
Those are the days.
Yeah, they,
there's no easy games for the Oilers right now. And playing Ilya Sorokin, although his numbers are down, it's not going to be easy. But you look at everyone else. We were Googling players' names when we were reading out the lineup because we didn't know who they were. The Oilers should win tonight. I don't think they'll make it easy on themselves, though.
Well, that's one thing they like to do is get in front of themselves and get in their own way.
Yeah,
And that's very frustrating.
I expect a close game.
I do too. Overtime?
Unfortunately.
The Islanders, that's how they win. That's
Yeah.
close games.
Ilya Sorokin, his last 4 games, 3 goals against, 2 goals against, 2 goals against, 3 goals against. Talking about the Oilers and maybe like the just need things to start falling, just need luck. I know this is a bit of a flawed stat on a game-to-game basis, but so far in March, the Oilers have played 6 games and they have, in air quotes, won the expected goals battle in 5 of those 6 games at 5-on-5. So the idea that they are outplaying the other team just saves and bounces.
Will that mean their PDO is really low?
Yes, because
If your expected is up there, but your PDO, therefore, if your expected is high, but your actuals aren't, therefore your PDO would be low, correct?
Yeah. And so far, to flip it on the other end, the Islanders also played 6 games so far in the month of March. They've won the expected goals battle once, and only in 2 of those 6 games have they scored more than 2 expected goals for at 5-on-5. And only in 1 of those games have they actually scored more than 2 goals at 5-on-5. So the offense is struggling. That should take care of itself. Sorokin is good. He's playing well. But again, if the Oilers can just go pump 40 shots on this guy, you need to get enough offense in that instance to win. I'll stop sort of saying they should win or will win, but like, come on.
Must win.
Find a way to.
Let's do a little squad ride same gamer, boys. What do we like tonight? We're going to put money line right up on the board, right off the jump. So shots, goals, points from a certain player. Anyone got one that they want to jump in on?
I'll do. I liked it last night, and I think he's probably on the top pairing again. Wallman over shots.
Yes, I actually do like that one because you can play it at 2 shots on goal on Bet365, and he's hit that in 3 straight games. So Wallman in the money line has us at plus 160. We can keep building. I'm going to say Draisaitl 3 shots. Again, he's just in that zone right now.
Yep.
Oilers should get some power plays. Yeah, he knows he has to shoot. Okay, I'll talk about that in a second. Jay Down, very, very confident. He just texted me to place a little wager for him since he's not in province.
There you go.
What's the wager? Not an amount, but what's the bet?
Puck line.
Just puck line?
And he is...
Oh, he's got some zeros involved.
Yeah, there's some zeros involved.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to go Draisaitl 3 shots. Lehman, we're at plus 320 already.
We need a goal scorer in here, don't we? Hyman goal.
Hyman goal. Snaps out of it. I like it. Rick, you're the last one.
I feel like the guy has got to be frustrated, and I think you're going to see some shots out of Connor. So let's go with Connor 3 shots.
Connor 3 shots as well. That gets us all the way up to plus 1,200. 12-1 on that parlay, boys. 10 into $130. So
like
giddy up. Moneyline, Wallman 2 shots, Draisaitl 3, Connor 3, Hyman to score a goal. I had a moment. When was the last home game before Dallas? That was Montreal. I was walking into the building, crossing the street, and someone was like, "Hey, Tyler," and I'm talking to him, whatever. And he goes, gives me his phone and just goes, "I have $20 left in my account.
Make a bet."
He goes, "Build the parlay for me." I'm like, "I got you, man. Don't worry about it." No, sorry. It was actually the Anaheim game. And I juiced it up for him and I felt bad. And it was cooked after the first period because I had them to win the first. So shout out to that guy. I'm sorry. I gave you a really, really bad parlay, but maybe this one will make up for it. Shout out to our friends at Bet365. Download the app. Use the promo code NATION. All right, boys. I'm going to get up and go to Bag Milk Seat because it's time for hot and cold performers. Liam, why don't you tell the people about Flight Night at Greta?
Tonight we're hosting Flight Night at Greta. You can come down to watch the Edmonton Oilers take on the New York Islanders. Puck drops at 5:30. The whole cast of characters here at Oilers Nation will be around. Besides Tyler and I, because we have a curling event tonight, and we're very excited to be a part.
Giddy up.
But at Flight Night, you and a friend, I believe, can win the chance to go on a nation vacation to Las Vegas, Nevada, where you can watch the Oilers play the Golden Knights. There might be a ticket entry. I can't remember.
$10.
$10.
All goes to the Ben Stelter Foundation.
All goes to the Ben Stelter Foundation. Again, you could win a chance to go to Las Vegas
with us.
April 2nd.
That's when the trip ends. March 30th.
Come home on April 2nd.
March 30th.
Yeah, if you go there on April 2nd, you will miss us. All right, boys. Hot and cold performers. Let's start with our veggies. Dan.
Mine is going to go out to 2 of my fellow co-hosts for the very reason that Tyler just mentioned. They got the opportunity to meet my curling legend hero, Kevin Martin, and do a little bit of an interview with him for Oilers Nation Every Day today. If you want to go check that out on our YouTube channel. And then also they're curling in an event this weekend where Kevin will be watching them curl. And that just makes me jealous. So it's pure selfish, pure jealous for me, but it's Tyler and Liam for getting to live out childhood Dan dreams.
That's a joke. That's an absolute joke is what it is.
Wait, that was a cold performer?
Yep. You guys get to live my dreams. So you're my cold performer.
Yeah.
Didn't bring me on the team.
I wouldn't come watch us either. Then it could be
going to be ugly.
Yeah, it could be
going to be ugly.
Over in 4.
Yeah.
Not games.
Rick, cold performer of the week.
We're going to go to Will McKinnon. No, we're not. What is this? Been traded to. Sorry, no, Mr. McKinnon, the GM who trades his son, which I understand. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. But then can someone please tell me what the return was?
Future considerations.
Ouch.
Ouch. Tough luck.
Sorry, kid. I got a movie out. All right, Dad. Who am I going for? Well, we'll decide that later.
Good luck, kid.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out deceived.
I will say, if I can defend the dad here, maybe he was looking at his own organization.
So get the kid out of here?
He's like,
there's ways to look at it.
You're not going to play here. Coach isn't playing you. I got a buddy GM who really needs a defenseman. You're going to play 20 minutes a night here. I'll move.
Maybe Dad's on the hot seat and he knows the other teams.
Yeah, there we go.
You get fired, we'll bring you on. Perfect. Kid, you're going over there. What for? Absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Liam, cold performer of the week.
4 points in 42 games for Will McKinnon this season, by the way.
Okay, so change of scenery may be needed.
to say the least. Cold performer of the week. Just this team. It really takes a lot to bring my hot and cold performers to hockey.
Yeah.
So the fact that we're here is honestly
Pretty tough.
nuts.
Not good. My cold performer of the week is going to be to the fan at the Sharks game who was trying to fight SJ Sharkey. At one point, beginning of the video, you can hear in the audio, you can kind of make out something that's along the lines of, he pushed me out of my chair. Dude, that's what mascots do. That's like the whole bit, bar for bar, word for word. They mess with you a little bit. So to that guy, I'm upset.
You got the popcorn treatment.
Yeah, I was going to say. And like, I'm always curious because Hunter does like the bit where he grabs someone's popcorn, dumps it on their head.
Everything is wrestling.
No, but you got to go ahead and like, hey, yo, y'all good with this?
No, those are literally planned.
Those are, yeah.
Oh, okay, fine. Same thing. Whatever. They're pre-planned. Whether it's be, hey, are you okay if we do this? Or
The NBA is the king of that.
The NBA is like painful
It's
ones.
so
though.
bad now. They've reached like levels of like TikTok.
Yeah.
Influencer
It's
crap.
cringy. Let's flip the ledger, boys, and the show with some positivity. Hot performers of the week. Liam, I'll let you go first.
Hot performer of the week. Kevin Mine.
That day.
Yeah. He was a great guy. Lee gave Liam some great pointers. Liam threw 4 rocks in preparation for our Bonspiel. Yeah. All of them all the way through the house. So he's playing third because we need the takeouts.
Take out King tonight.
There you go.
Just don't put our own rocks in the way.
Yeah. Nothing is safe. Rick.
When you need a blank, just call him over. I'm gonna give it to Leon. If there's one shining star right now on this team when everything seems to be doom and gloom, it's the big fella. So let's give it to Leon here.
He's a hot guy. Dan.
Well, it's not politics season yet, so I'm just going to give it out to the fact that our prime minister is an Oilers fan. For the first time in my lifetime, we have an Oilers fan leading the country.
Good omen.
Put some respect on my name.
I'm going to give it to Gene Principe. You want to talk about shining light? The Buffalo Open.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Jumping through the table. Hilarious. And then you had the Magician Open with New Jersey as well. We are lucky to have our boy Gino. All right, boys. What do we think? Tonight, Sunday, Madison Square Garden. Double up on the score predictions, Dan.
Oh, man. I think tonight's going to be a 3-2 overtime loss. And then I think we win 5-1 against the Rangers.
Okay, Rick.
Tonight, 5-2 Edmonton. Sunday, 4-2 Edmonton.
I'm going to say they're up 4-2 tonight, give up a late one, but win 4-3, miss another empty net, and then win 5-2 against the Rangers. Liam?
Had to throw in that empty net miss, eh?
They'll win tonight, lose Sunday. They'll be lucky to win tonight.
The Rangers are so bad. They're far more scattered than we are.
I would disagree. What is the last?
Yeah.
In what?
Wins since February 1st ago, there's a dead last in the NHL.
We're number one at something. We're number one.
How about from the beginning of the season?
All right.
Dead last.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Enjoy your weekend. We'll be back on Tuesday. What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.